What's up, family? It's Kahir the Conqueror here. We're gonna talk about failure. Failure. When you hear the word, like, off rip, and automatically, it has such like a sour taste coming out of the mouth. And also in society, and even the definition of it has such a negative connotation. But we talked about it in a couple of videos here and there. What if I told you that it is necessary, that it's important, it's a part of human evolution, human growth. It's required to succeed. It's required to win, at least in most circumstances, or many. It's a word that we dread, we hate. Imagine thinking like that creates anxiety. I don't want to be a failure. I don't want them to call me a failure. To come short and then people label you a failure. It's defeating, as it should be, I understand. But real winners are failures. Real winners were failures. Real winners failed first, coming from a winner. Now, your path to winning, to achieving a goal and stuff like that, that's different for everybody. And I'm trying to be better, but was a knucklehead who learned everything the hard way. It's just how I learned. Fortunately, I wasn't like a complete bonehead, and there's a mighty God that has been with me. So in some situations I got out, maybe by the hair on my skin, or whatever the saying is, but like, the lessons that I learned, the wisdom that I gained, the experience that is now with me, it can never be taken away. And like I mentioned, there's tidbits, and I even made a video kind of tailored towards it, without falling short. I don't have that wisdom. I didn't learn those lessons. I don't learn those lessons. I don't gain that knowledge because failing teaches you that. Falling short for winners teaches you how to approach things differently. I study the game. Anything I do, I study for the most part. I'm passionate, I pour my heart into things. Doesn't mean you're always gonna win initially. But rest in peace, one of the GOATs, Kobe. Like I said, I studied the game. I know I've heard plenty of interviews from him, quotes and all types of things where he talks about that. Like, you figure it out along the way from trying. To win is to have failed, and to have failed is to have tried. If you tried, then you didn't really fail. It's just some things maybe you have to get better at and grow, mature, gain experience, etc. Some things might not be for you. Some things might not be in the best of alignment for you. In truth, how I define it, you're really only a failure if you quit, if you abandon the process and the path. Because, as I also mentioned, and as I've learned, and I've heard other people attest to this, when you try, when you aren't afraid of like the discomfort and the fear of perception and being seen and all of that stuff that's real, but it's not real at the same time. By taking those steps, and I'll expand on this in another video in the future, you get directed towards where you're supposed to go. That's why I say that winners are, were, and have been failures. Because you have to mess up along the way. We're not God, like not the creator. So we gotta learn the hard way in history. Cause like I say it in many videos, not to sound silly, talking about it wasn't no robot, it wasn't no gorilla that did it, but like human beings did everything that we see. And I'm gonna expand on that in another video too. But like with the seatbelt, how do you think we had to figure out, you know what I'm saying? Like the way they test cars with the crash dummies, like why do you think we do that? Airplanes, you think it was just, oh, 1, 2, 3, take off, everybody good? Trial and error. That's also a part of, you know, being human. With the failure process, like it's not always pretty, but necessary. So I think we need to change our relationship and the connotation, maybe even the definition, but I'm not Webster or whoever else does that. But failing isn't as bad as it seems, because technically we can't fail. Now, obviously, this is motivation, inspiration. So if you go and take a test and you get a 25 out of 100, you fail. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sit up here and gaslight you. But outside of examples like that, and even then, unless it's the last test that defines everything, like you should learn what you did wrong, what you didn't know. So guess what? You go back to the drawing board. You go back to your notes. What did I miss? What do I need to retain? You go to whoever the instructor is. You get help. You group up with, you get the point. Like you approach things differently. You don't just keep doing the same. Because then you're not learning. You're not gaining wisdom. You're not gaining experience. So basically, like, don't be afraid of failure, because like that creates hesitation. That creates doubt. That creates all these misconceptions and limiting beliefs and things like that. And you drown that out, because if you don't, it'll drown you out. It's that little voice in your mind, your heart, your spirit, your soul that I was just talking about in the video about like the creations. It'll drown all of that stuff out because you're worried if you're going to fail or not. I'm not speaking for everybody, but as I said, I've studied the game from people that reach heights that we look up to. You know what I'm saying? And none of these people came out the womb sweet. They might have had a gift that they cultivated and things like that, but they learned from what maybe didn't go right. They learned from mistakes. They learned from falling short. And the real winners, the ones who got that dog, that's when they turn up. Like, okay, now I know what I need to do now. Now I know how I need to approach it. See what I missed. So winning mentality. So get comfortable with failure. Just like you got to get comfortable with discomfort, get comfortable with failure. Because at every point, the winners, they fell short. They just didn't quit.